Here we have the IWC Pilot's Watch Mark 20 with the sunray green dial, the bracelet, and the rubber strap. And technically this is a pilot's watch, just like the name says. But amongst watch collectors, I hear this most often compared to a Rolex Explorer. So yes, this is a sporty aviation piece, but I think it compares best to a field watch. And I'd like to answer the question, how good is it? My own opinion, this is really freaking good. Now, what makes it so solid? Essentially, you get a lot of quality, you get great features, but it's not priced excessively. And that's an important thing to consider because when you want to buy a great luxury piece, you pay for that privilege. There are very few luxury value propositions on the market. So the fact that I think this one has it, this has the proper ratio of watch to retail price, that's just a nice thing to see as a watch collector. And then add on the fact that IWC is one of the few mainstream luxury brands that can actually create a lovely shade of green. And this particular version gets even more exciting. Why do I say that? When I look at green done by other luxury brands, often it's dark, it's deep, it's drab, it's desaturated, and it's not as exciting. And then when you see a luxury brand try to do a bright or light green, sometimes it really comes across as too much Christmas. So it's difficult to hit that sweet spot. And I think IWC has hit the sweet spot in terms of a good verdant green. Now, I'd like to talk about the positives of this watch and then go into the negatives. Let's start with the positives. 40 millimeters in case diameter, but only 10.8 in total height. And then there are 20 millimeter lugs, which makes this just wear so nice on the wrist. This wears thin, trim, and slender. And I think some would say that this has perfect proportions, and it would be hard to argue against that. Check it out next to my also 40 millimeter sized Rolex Day Date, which is a personal favorite of mine. I think these two would make a great duo. Just something I've thought of as I've been doing this review. Now, another good point about this Type 20 is the anti-reflective coatings. And I may be in the minority of collectors who care about this point, but I think good ARC makes or breaks many watches, and I'm happy to report that this has fantastic anti-reflective coatings. Another good point is the bracelet. I think this is one of the best in the industry. It's solid, it's well finished, it's well engineered. This tapers, it has a quick release system, and it also has a hidden quick adjustment system, which you operate by pressing down on the logo on the outside part of the clasp. And that's important because you can make an adjustment while you're wearing the watch. You don't have to take it off, make an adjustment, and then put it back on. I know that's a small, silly little point, but it really demonstrates the attention to detail on the part of IWC. Now let's talk about the movement. Inside this closed case back is an in-house caliber called the 32111. Now, this has 163 different components. It is fully decorated. Here's an image of the movement. It has 21 jewels. It beats at 4 hertz, and it has an impressive 120 hours of power reserve, which is 5 days of power reserve. The caliber is 5 position adjusted, and this will be the same movement that IWC places in the nearly double priced Engineer 40. So it really speaks to the value that IWC is placing here in the Type 20. Now, the dial color is gorgeous. Just like I mentioned, there's nice crispness to the white printing. I think it's very symmetrical. Not everybody enjoys a date at the 3, but I don't think it's really out of place here on this Pilot's piece. The case has 100 meters of water resistance. It has a signed thread down style crown. So really the watch is sharp looking. It's comfortable. It has a great movement. It's anti-magnetic. It's a go anywhere, do anything type of watch. You can buy this on leather strap for $5,250 full retail price, or you can opt for it on this bracelet, which I recommend, even though it has a pretty significant premium of a full retail price of $6,150. Now, could this be a great everyday watch? I think I've answered that throughout the video, but yes, absolutely it could. Is this watch a Rolex Explorer beater or killer? And you know what? That is an absolute question. I think, most watch collectors are going to think differently on this. It really kind of depends on how you view Rolex. But speaking about quality, I think this IWC goes toe to toe with Rolex with far greater availability, more color and strap options, and it's also over $1,500 less at retail. So you tell me, is this a Rolex Explorer beater, or would you rather buy a Rolex Explorer? Now, what about drawbacks to this watch? I think in my time with this, two things have come to my mind. One is the lume. It's slightly lacking. It's not about the quality of the lume, it's about where it's placed. It's only placed on the hands, and it's only placed on the cardinal hour markers. And I would love to see all of the numerals loomed, so that's why I dock this a little bit when it comes to the lume game. Now, the last negative element comes down to the bracelet. It's these end links. They are a little rigid when it comes to the second link, and you can see how it hangs down. If you have smaller wrists, this will naturally wrap around your wrist. It will conform to the curvature, and I think it will be very comfortable. But if you have large wrists, I would say maybe 7.5 inches or above, this could look a little funny, at least when it comes to how the links lay on the wrist. And that's an important, little detail to consider when you're looking at a luxury watch. So just consider your wrist shape, your wrist size if you're buying this on the bracelet. And speaking of larger wrists, the stock leather, the stock rubber, and the stock bracelet will barely fit if you have those large wrists. You'll need to order more links for just for a more comfortable fit when you buy this from an authorized dealer, or you'll need to order an XL length strap because at least my wrists are 7.25 inches, and this is borderline uncomfortable. It's borderline too small for my sized wrists. Now let's do a conclusion here to the video. Bearing in mind those two negative aspects, I think this is a heck of a watch, and it would be a fantastic choice to use as a daily driver. Whether you go black or silver or blue or this beautiful verdant green, I think this watch is close to perfection. And I also think that this is an example of IWC bringing the value at the luxury level, which really doesn't happen all that often when it comes to luxury brands. I am very high on the Type 20. Now, would I personally buy one? I think I would. I'm not sure. I say that because I love the Big Pilot 43 and I love the Big Pilot 46. So I don't know. I consider those two other ones compared to this Type 20. And there is something awesome about those large diamond-shaped crowned watches. They are far more expensive. They are larger. They don't offer the same type of value as this Type 20 does. But stylistically, I don't know. I think I like those more. So coming back to that question, would I buy this? I think so. There's nothing that would hold me back from it unless I wanted a different IWC Pilot that had less value. That said, thank you for watching today. If you have any questions about this IWC, let me know. I'd be happy to answer those. If you enjoyed this video, I would appreciate if you would like. That really helps my channel out. And if you would like to see more detail-focused luxury watch reviews from a watch fan's perspective, please subscribe. I try to post every few days, everything from Grand Seiko to Rolex to IWC, Tudor, Longines, Breitling, you name it. I try to bring the variety. So if you could support me by subscribing, I really appreciate that.